We have uncovered the hidden FIFA rule that could force Cristiano Ronaldo off Portugal's World Cup team. One internal statistic they are hiding proves he is holding them back. Stick to the end for the leaked document that changes everything. The weight of expectation has followed Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro across continents, eras, and generations. But nowhere has it pressed heavier than on the red shirt of Portugal, because for all the records broken and all the stadiums silenced, there remains a single tournament where time has never bent in his favor. And the cruel truth is that the closer the world edges toward the 2026 FIFA World Cup, the more that unfinished business begins to define everything around him. Portugal did not enter international football history as a nation accustomed to lifting trophies. Long before Cristiano Ronaldo, there was Eusebio da Silva Ferreira carrying hope on his shoulders in the 1960s, running through defenses with power and sorrow intertwined, delivering moments that felt historic yet ultimately incomplete. Later came Luis Felipe Madeira Caeiro Figo, gliding through the early 2000s with elegance, a symbol of Portugal's sophistication rather than its ruthlessness. Each era left its mark, but each ended the same way, with admiration replacing silverware. Then Cristiano Ronaldo arrived, and suddenly Portugal stopped dreaming politely and began demanding outcomes. For nearly 2 decades, Cristiano Ronaldo became both shield and spear, the man expected to rescue Portugal from its own limitations, the figure blamed when miracles failed to materialize. Titles eventually followed. UEFA Euro 2016 shattered a national ceiling that had stood for generations. The UEFA Nations League added another chapter of validation. Yet through all of it, the FIFA World Cup remained untouched, hovering like an accusation rather than an opportunity. It did not matter how many goals were scored in qualifiers or how many records fell in friendlies and finals elsewhere. The absence of that trophy lingered, shaping conversations even when Cristiano Ronaldo insisted it no longer mattered. He has said it openly, with the confidence of someone who has conquered nearly everything else, that winning the World Cup would not define his legacy, that it is not a dream that keeps him awake. Yet legacy does not belong to the individual alone. It belongs to history, to debate, to memory, and to comparison. Lionel Andrés Messi's triumph with Argentina in Qatar did not merely complete his career. It rewrote the emotional grammar of football itself. A narrative once defined by heartbreak became a fairy tale sealed by destiny. In the process, the so-called greatest of all time debate hardened into something that felt resolved, even final. For Cristiano Ronaldo, that moment did not close a chapter. It reopened one he had never been allowed to finish. What complicates everything is that Portugal, at this precise moment, is not a fading power leaning on nostalgia. It is one of the most balanced, technically gifted, and tactically versatile squads the nation has ever assembled. The irony is sharp. For the first time since Cristiano Ronaldo's debut in 2003, Portugal does not need him to perform miracles to survive. It needs him to coexist with a generation capable of carrying games on their own terms. That coexistence, more than any opponent or draw, may determine whether Portugal's World Cup campaign becomes immortal or implodes under its own contradictions. The turning point came quietly, almost deceptively, in the aftermath of UEFA Euro 2024. Portugal's exit ignited frustration that bordered on rebellion. Supporters questioned not only Cristiano Ronaldo's presence, but the entire direction of the national team. Roberto Martinez Montoliu, newly entrusted with guiding this complex machine, found himself under immediate siege. The calls for renewal were loud, emotional, and relentless. Then came the UEFA Nations League, a competition often dismissed as ceremonial, a footnote in the calendar. Portugal treated it like a lifeline. Winning that tournament did more than add another trophy to the cabinet. It stabilized a collapsing narrative. It protected Roberto Martinez from immediate dismissal. It silenced, temporarily, the demands to phase out Cristiano Ronaldo. Most importantly, it locked the hierarchy in place. Cristiano Ronaldo remained captain, figurehead, and focal point. The idea of transition was postponed, perhaps indefinitely. In the eyes of the Federation and much of the public, success had validated continuity. And so, with little fanfare but enormous consequence, Portugal committed to entering the 2026 World Cup with a 41-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo still leading the line. That reality alone would have sounded absurd in any previous era. Most players at that age are retired, coaching youth teams, or narrating highlights from studio desks. Cristiano Ronaldo, instead, continued to score, continued to train with obsession, continued to carry himself as though time were an opponent he intended to defeat rather than accept. His goals in qualifiers and Nations League fixtures were not symbolic, they were decisive. 13 goals across recent campaigns reinforced Roberto Martinez's belief that removing Cristiano Ronaldo would be irrational, even irresponsible. Yet football is not played in spreadsheets or highlight reels. It is played in rhythm, space, and sacrifice. The warning signs arrive, not in defeats, but in dominance. When Cristiano Ronaldo was suspended following a moment of lost control during a World Cup qualifier against the Republic of Ireland, Portugal were forced to proceed without him. The suspension itself was historic. The first red card of his international career. A rare crack in the discipline that has defined him. The controversy deepened when FIFA reduced the punishment, a reminder of how power and spectacle intertwine at the highest levels of the sport. But what followed on the pitch mattered far more. Portugal dismantled Armenia by 9-1. The performance was intense, fluid, and startlingly modern. Players interchanged positions freely. Pressing was coordinated. The ball moved quickly, not in search of a single outlet, but toward opportunity itself. João Neves arrived from midfield to score. Attacks emerged from multiple angles. It felt less like a team compensating for absence, and more like one liberated by it. The memory sharpened when observers recalled an earlier 9-goal demolition of Luxembourg during European Championship qualifying, also achieved without Cristiano Ronaldo. These were not tests against elite opposition, and no one pretended otherwise. But 9 goals are 9 goals, and repetition demands attention. The uncomfortable question surfaced again, not as heresy, but as analysis. Is Portugal more unpredictable, more dynamic without its greatest ever player? The modern game is unforgiving. Forwards are no longer judged solely by goals, but by movement, pressing intensity, and defensive contribution. Cristiano Ronaldo's instincts inside the penalty area remain elite, his timing unmatched, his finishing accurate when chances arise. But the physical demands of 90 minutes at tournament pace are relentless. Younger strikers, like Erling Braut Haaland, redefine expectations, covering ground at volumes that defy previous standards. Cristiano Ronaldo cannot replicate that output, not consistently, not at 41. This is not criticism, it is biology. Still, Roberto Martinez's dilemma is not solved by data alone. Cristiano Ronaldo's presence reshapes games psychologically. Defenders panic, midfielders hesitate, opponents alter plans simply because he exists. He remains Portugal's most reliable penalty taker, its most experienced leader under pressure, and its most recognizable symbol. In the UEFA Nations League final against Spain, it was Cristiano Ronaldo who scored the equalizer, the moment that tilted belief back toward Lisbon. Removing that influence risks erasing an edge that statistics struggle to quantify. The danger lies in dependency. When Cristiano Ronaldo starts, Portugal's attack often narrows, not by instruction but by instinct. Teammates look for him, passes funnel toward him. Creative players hesitate between expressing themselves and fulfilling an obligation to serve the icon. In recent qualifiers, Cristiano Ronaldo attempted more shots than any other Portuguese player, while registering no assists. A reflection not of selfishness, but of gravitational pull. The game bends toward him, sometimes at the expense of unpredictability. That tension becomes sharper when considering the depth of talent surrounding him. Bruno Miguel Borges Fernandes operates as one of the most complete midfielders of his generation, capable of pressing relentlessly, threading impossible passes, and scoring from distance with casual authority. His influence has often been obscured by club-level chaos, but in a functional system, his intelligence becomes devastating. Bernardo Motavega de Carvalho e Silva offers a different weapon, gliding through tight spaces, retaining possession under pressure, dismantling defensive shapes through patience rather than speed. Vitinha and João Neves, refined through Paris Saint-Germain's domestic dominance, bring control and rhythm that Portugal once lacked. They dictate tempo rather than chase it, slowing matches into submission or accelerating them into chaos depending on need. These are not passengers awaiting instruction. They are conductors. Behind them, Portugal's defensive structure stands as one of the most reliable in international football. Ruben dos Santos Gato Alves Dias commands the backline with authority earned at the highest level, organizing, confronting, and elevating performances when stakes rise. Nuno Mendes, widely regarded as the world's premier left-back, combines defensive discipline with attacking explosiveness, another product of Paris Saint-Germain's trophy-laden campaigns. João Pedro Cavaco Cancelo adds versatility and creativity from deeper positions, a risk-taker whose passing range transforms transitions into weapons. All of this suggests that Portugal's greatest strength may also be its most sad illusion. The team is no longer built to survive Cristiano Ronaldo's absence, yet it remains structured around his presence. Roberto Martinez faces a decision he may never publicly acknowledge: whether loyalty outweighs optimization. To shift Cristiano Ronaldo into a reduced role, a late-game finisher, a specialist for penalties and decisive moments, would likely maximize collective intensity. But such a move demands humility from the greatest competitor the sport has ever produced, and courage from a coach whose authority remains fragile. History suggests compromise will not arrive. Roberto Martinez has teed his project to Cristiano Ronaldo. Altering course on the eve of a World Cup would feel like rewriting the script halfway through a film, risking confusion and backlash. Cristiano Ronaldo will start. The system will adjust around him. The question is whether the adaptation elevates or restrains the collective. Beyond tactics and fitness lies something less measurable but equally decisive: mentality. Under Roberto Martinez, Portugal have shown resilience when matches unravel. Panic no longer defines their response to adversity. Experience and youth coexist without visible fracture. Cristiano Ronaldo's standards, forged through decades of obsession, permeate the squad. Cristiano Ronaldo remains one of the most recognizable figures on the planet, his presence extending beyond football into politics, commerce, and spectacle. His appearance at elite gatherings alongside world leaders and FIFA president Giovanni Vincenzo Infantino reflects influence that transcends sport. It invites cynicism and humor in equal measure, but it also reinforces a reality. Football's institutions benefit from his visibility. That does not guarantee favors on the pitch, but it shapes the environment in which tournaments unfold. If Portugal were to navigate the draw, survive the margins, and lift the World Cup in 2026, the consequences would echo far beyond Lisbon. The greatest of all-time debate would not simply reopen, it would fracture. Cristiano Ronaldo's supporters would point to a resume that includes continental glory, global dominance, longevity unprecedented in elite sport, and finally, the one trophy he never claimed. The context, the minutes played, the goals scored would matter less than the image itself: Cristiano Ronaldo lifting the World Cup. Critics would counter that legacy depends on protagonism, that Lionel Messi's triumph came alongside individual dominance and the golden ball, that leadership is measured not by presence but by transformation. The final act remains unwritten. Cristiano Ronaldo stands at the edge of immortality and contradiction, both the key to Portugal's hope and the obstacle to its evolution. Whether the 2026 World Cup becomes a coronation or a reckoning will depend not on whether he scores, but on whether the team around him can breathe, adapt, and rise without hesitation. In that tension lies the true drama, not of a nation, chasing a trophy, but of a legend confronting the limits of his own shadow. Tell me if you think Portugal is stronger without him in the starting lineup. Let me know which young player should take his place. Follow for the next controversial football secret we expose. Drop your prediction for his 2026 World Cup role in the comments.